appearance. So yeah, quantum dots. So there's carbon-based quantum dots, which is what's in the intrabody nano network. Those are designed to go throughout the body, okay? They create an internal network of sensing, imaging, and receiving and transmitting. That's what's in the POC. It's called an intrabody nano network. Well, you guys can look it up and you can decide whether it's in the POC or not, okay? But then we have the quantum dot tattoo. The quantum dot tattoo is comprised of copper-based quantum dots. And I forget the proper scientific word, but they basically, copper-based quantum dots have the capacity to basically electromagnetically work as one unit. So essentially it will work as one chip or a QR code, but the quantum dot tattoo, what it does is it goes on the body and it has little micro needles in it, and those micro needles will dissolve and enter into the body. And now since they're copper gravitates naturally into the brain, as our brain needs copper to function. So they will naturally gravitate towards the brain. And that's because it's designed to sit on the nodes of the brain. Not just for brain mapping, because that's what the carbon-based quantum dots do. They map the brain. But in order to sit on the nodes of the brain and receive direction from the cloud, that will be received by the chip, basically, that will be on the hand. And remember, this will be just like a tattoo. And then the data received, the direction received from the cloud, will go onto the chip on the hand, and it'll be directed straight into the brain, received by the copper-based quantum dots sitting on the nodes of the brain. And thoughts can be controlled. The body can be controlled, and people will be none the wiser. They won't know. And that's what's frustrating. I've been trying to warn people of this for 3 years. I've encouraged people to read patents, read the science on this technology, really comprehend the capacities, because this is what's at stake, and nobody's doing what they need to do, which is separating from society. I mean, we've got to separate and come together as one, functioning outside of their systems of control, because they're going to snag all of us with this stuff. They are not going to tell you. I just did.
Frontier AI systems have passed the self-replicating red line. I'm reading this research paper. It's just up on GitHub. Basically, it says that the latest iteration of Llama and Qwen at about the 70 billion parameter mark can 50 and 90% of the time create a live and separate copy of itself. These are large context models, meaning they can take in a lot of data. So long as the agent is able to fix its typos, it's able to copy itself without any human intervention at all. Over half of the attempts were able to succeed in copying themselves. Pair this with the recent research from Apollo Research, which is when we caught models lying and making plans. Google DeepMind published this study in April of 2024. These were a lot of the evaluations that were done at the time, and the results of the Gemini model, which is one of the least capable models. This was April. This is in December. This isn't even in a journal yet. It's not even on archive. It's just up on GitHub. I have personally gotten models to self-exfiltrate as early as February of this year. This is why Pause AI will not help and will not save anyone. Open source models that can be run on consumer hardware are exhibiting the red line AI safety risks that we have been warning everyone about. Pause AI will not do anything here, because the models are already out there in the open. Limits on the most capable processors are also not going to help, because the models have already been trained and distributed that are capable of doing these things. Regulation is too slow. In November of last year, we were talking about maybe creating some bodies that could eventually provide safety standards. We were talking about giving regulators visibility. We were talking about mechanisms to ensure compliance with safety standards. People who are not going to follow your standards are already in possession of the models that are the most dangerous. This, paired with the automatic design of agentic systems, gives us seed AI. Cthulhu is out of the bag, man, and it is likely that there are already agentic running instances somewhere that we don't know about. Flatten the curve is past. Stop the spread has passed. It's endemic now. We need all hands on deck. Get over your ego. That's causing you to dismiss this problem. Things will not go back to normal. There is no unplugging it. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how to get people to listen to me. You're in danger.
They can control the nano rushing through your bloodstream. You will not. Because your body doesn't know what to do with this stuff. Your body's immune system does weird things. And they know that. And it can bypass the blood-brain barrier. So the danger in telling people ghost stories is that this is a very complex system of electrically, chemically, magnetically, and using sound and pressure, vibrating cellular structure to whatever they want it to be. And by they, that is your FCC, your HHS, and our nano.gov. So, in my opinion, now this is opinion, the methylene blue is a previous contrast dye-like type of thing for an MRI, lights you up on the inside. The zeolite allows for any payload they want. So while they're logging in under the skin, who, where, why, who knows? They never disclose what they're doing with the bodies or the body area networks. But that is our Golden Dome, our Healthcare 4.0, and now our Genesis project. So who knows? But the more of this nanotechnology you're sucking down and throwing back and purchasing and slapping on with your visible light patches and your wearable and your cryptocurrency, the more Wi-Fi networks are targeting you because you are connecting with them too. This is synthetic technology. You're the one that put it in your mouth. You're the one that put it on. So here it comes. And this is why I got so pissed off 2 years ago with this Masterpiece stuff. They cussed me out. They called me names. They ran a slander campaign because I wouldn't help them promote their masterpiece. It was public. I then tried to explain this. There's older videos explaining things differently.
Your digital twin with the air molecules that are nearby and can be changed by their states in order to affect something called wake-up radio. Imagine a receiver in a very low power mode that would, in a way, wake up just in time for the data to be received. This is what they have designed the biosensors that are inside of our bodies to do.
We're going to look at wake-up radio. And we're going to start by looking at this image. You can see here the terahertz radio short range, omnidirectional, or they use the mechanical ultrasound with the LoRa. This is your digital twin, which is made up of air molecules from outside of the body with your millimeter wave terahertz. Now here are your software-defined metamaterials. Software-defined metamaterials are those tiny, tiny little molecules that can be aggregated, organized, rearranged to make little anchors on the outside of your skin. This is an example of a smart textile. And it has localization anchors with a terahertz radio. Uses the mechanism of ultrasound somatics, the power of sound, wake-up radio, ultrasound. It's the gateway between controller, that sync, and the nanonodes. Now here you have network controller, wherever that sync is. The network controller has localization of nanonodes, wake-up radio, and location-based addressing and routing. And finally, you have your nanonodes. The nanonodes, which are passively flowing in the bloodstream, energy harvesting entities, get woken up and localized for things like targeted drug delivery. And the reason they are passively flowing through the bloodstream is because they are using your heartbeat and your own red blood cells to move themselves along for energy and power. The software-defined metamaterials that anchor themselves on the outside of your skin magnetize to the little anchors passively flowing in the bloodstream within. Precision AI healthcare and wireless drugging. That's the direction this is headed. That's why the FDA approved the DigiTwin, so that they could just use the wireless to get the electrical signal in. And the nanonodes, nanobots, they redistribute themselves based on wake-up radio and the localization of themselves where they're supposed to go or not go. This is why being a node on the World Wide Web without anyone saying anything about it is so dangerous. Well, look at this. It's got a better image. So we have an energy harvesting nanonode to wake them up and get them moving. Now, they are using your heartbeat and your red blood cells for themselves, for their own communications. The energy harvesting nanonodes that land on the outside of you to ultrasound-based wake-up radio. So we only want to wake up certain nodes. Terahertz radio for localization and communication. Energy harvesting, memory, computation. Basically, we have these energy harvesting nanonodes if we need them. Then, we got software-defined metamaterials based body area network node. The software-defined metamaterials, it could be the smart dust. It could be actual wireless sensor networks that are supposed to interface with your body. As you can see here, they just wake up that node with the smart dust on the outside of you, for example, or a signal coming from maybe outside of your house or another body. These are optogenetic networks.